Other finch saw only quiet and inheritance. They called it a crumbling, forgotten lodge nestled deep within the whisperwind forest, miles from the nearest soul. He envisioned solitude, the rustle of leaves, the gentle decay of time. He found instead a wound in the world. It began subtly, a patch of air near the old root cellar where the temperature never seemed to shift, no matter the season. Always a biting chill, even on a summer's afternoon. A cold that felt less like absence of heat and more like the presence of something profoundly alien. Arthur, pragmatic to a fault, attributed it to drafts, poor insulation in the ancient stone foundation. He stuffed rags, sealed cracks, but the cold remained, a persistent, unwelcome guest. Then came the whispers. Not audible voices, not at first. More like thoughts that weren't his own, brushing against his mind like moth wings in the dark. Fragmented, nonsensical, images of twisted shapes, colors that defy the spectrum, geometric patterns that seem to riff with a natural life. He dismissed them as the product of isolation, of an overworked mind seeking patterns in silence. His focus narrowed to the cold spot by the cellar door. One evening, as twilight bled into night, he noticed something else. The air there didn't just feel cold, it looked different. A slight shimmering, like heat haze over asphalt on a scorching day, but emanating cold. And within the shimmer, a distortion, not a reflection, but as if the world behind it were warped, colors muted to an oppressive gray, shapes blurred and indistinct. Abulsion seized him. He spent hours staring, drawn into the unnatural stillness. The warped gray patch seemed to pulse with that internal, soundless whispering. He felt a growing certainty, a chilling ebite beneath this was not a draft, not a trick of the light. This was a tear, a breach in the fabric of reality itself. His initial fear curdled into a dangerous obsession. He documented everything. Sketches of the shifting, impossible shapes seen through the gray. Notes on the escalating psychological intrusion, thoughts becoming clearer, more coherent, yet utterly alien, filled with concepts of scale and time that made his mind ache. The shimmer sometimes intensified, offering fleeting, horrific glimpses, a limb that bent the wrong way, an eye with too many pupils, landscapes of impossible angles under a sky of bruised purple. He tried experiments. He threw pebbles at the shimmer. They vanished upon contact, leaving no ripple, no sound. He held a hand near it. A sudden, violent static electricity shocked him, leaving his skin feeling raw and humming. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, sometimes coalescing into a single, chilling hum. The lodge itself seemed to react. Shadows deepened and ripped in his peripheral vision. Objects shifted when he wasn't looking. The floorboards groaned not with age, but as if something vast and heavy were pacing below. He stopped sleeping, fueled by coffee and a feverish need to understand, to catalog this impossible thing. One night, the gray patch expanded, crawling like a stain across the wall. The shimmering intensified into a violent vibration. The whispers became a cacophony, a chorus of alien voices screaming wordless concepts into his skull. He stumbled back, heart hammering against his ribs. Then it happened. A form began to resolve within the gray, not a solid thing, but a disturbance, a negative space outlined by the warped world beyond. It was tall, gaunt, with limbs that didn't seem to fit together correctly. It moved with a jerky, unnatural grace. Panic clawed at him, primal and overwhelming. He turned to flee, but a force, cold and irresistible, seized him. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of dust and ozone. The shrieking voices hammered his sanity into dust. He felt himself being pulled, inexorably, towards the expanding gray tier. He clawed at the floorboards, at the doorframe, but his grip was useless against the terrible suction. The last thing Arthur saw was the form resolving fully in the gray, its head tilting in a motion that spoke of impossible understanding, its hand a collection of jointless digits reaching out. The gray swallowed him, the cold searing his skin like fire. The scream died in his throat, unheard beyond the threshold. The lodge stands empty now, the gray patch by the root cellar door smaller perhaps, but still there. The cold air still flows from it, and sometimes, on the wind, faint, alien whispers seem to drift through the trees of Whisperwind Forest, waiting for the next soul drawn to the silence.